Dear Andrew Hulshult, if you ever see this video, I just want to say I immensely respect your work and I use it as a reference constantly for my own stuff. This is just an analysis of how I think of music in Doom, but it doesn't tear you down in any way, and I think you did an amazing job. Thank you for bringing this music into the world, and I hope you enjoy this video if you see it. Hi. Question. What if the music for battling the Dark Lord in the Doom Eternal DLC had a big catchy hook, like, you know, this one? Well, now there's an answer, because I, Geoffrey Day, have made my own original Dark Lord battle theme, and I think I prefer it over the real music from the game, which makes sense because I made it. I'm also excited because unlike the covers I've been doing, this time, it's completely Doom, 100% raw, uncut argent metal. Just a big fat warning, if you haven't played the second Doom Eternal DLC yet, I will be spoiling it while explaining things. If this applies to you, you're gonna want to get out of here. As always, if you want to hear the final product right this second, use the timestamp below to skip ahead. But for the rest of you, I want to talk about the decisions regarding the arrangement and what makes the DLC music so different from the base game, other than the obvious change in roster. Sound good? Alright, first thing, let's break down the Dark Lord fight and understand the music in context. Again, this is where the spoilers begin, so get out of here now if this applies to you. If you made it to the end of the Doom Eternal DLC, then you know that the fight with the Dark Lord / the Sazabi Gundam / Hulkbuster Mark Ruffalo happens right after cutting through the demons on Amora's front lines. It starts with a quick monologue, there's some combat, then immediately more combat on a ravaged Earth, then a plot twist, then a long final battle back where you found the Dark Lord's life sphere in DLC 1. As you would expect, there's ambient music during the dialogue and heavier music during the fighting. Now, the music itself, created by Andrew Hulshult, is pretty heavy on the angelic choirs, I assume to invoke an ancient or god's image. And of course, there's a big helping of filtered synths, fat drums, and guitar chugging, you know, just like the rest of the soundtrack. But here's where my first question came up. How does this song actually go? Okay, to explain that better, let's contrast to mix work from the base game. Here's The Only Thing They Fear Is You playing when you fight the Marauder. And here's Meat Hook just as regular combat music. And since it starts as soon as you pass through some Slayer gates, I guess that alternate title makes sense. These songs by Mick are very much in the foreground of the game. I can hear everything clearly, they draw attention to themselves. For all intents and purposes, they aren't just an underscore, they are actual songs, like if I decided to put on Spotify while playing the level. Now back to the Dark Lord fight. The music that Hulshult made for this encounter definitely sounds like you're having an epic fight against a big scary enemy. But to me, it feels like that's happening from the third person. The music sounds environmental, like a traditional game score meant to enhance gameplay but not be a standout feature. The result of Mick Gordon breaking away from that model was that the music made you feel like a badass metal theme was being played just for you as the Slayer. And if you listen to him talk about the exploration phase of the project, he says,
you know, through that big giant process of looking at every single facet of Doom, we kind of stumbled onto this idea that you're the enemy of the demons in the game. And that's very different to every other, you know, kind of action-based game out there where you're, you know, the lone survivor, you're the savior, you're the one who's beating everybody or whatever. We thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we played it from the demon's perspective? And we said, no, this demon slayer, the Doom guy, right? He's the bad guy, he's the evil one, right? He's the one that's coming to kill us all.
Which makes sense. In key gameplay moments, the music of Doom isn't supposed to be a reflection of the surroundings. It's supposed to be for you. You are the terrifying and powerful monster. You are the final boss, and you always win. That feeling of player power and badassery is the result of intentional choices made while making music. And as much as I enjoy Andrew's Dark Lord theme from the DLC, I always leave with a feeling that the intention was something else. Maybe it was to match the environment, maybe it was to create that Doom aesthetic but with a more traditional soundtrack template, but whatever it was, the music wasn't really written in a way to have attention drawn to it, and therefore it has less of a chance to remind the player of what their role is in the game. Well, after all that, it's time to make some music, don't you think? I want to try to make some Dark Lord battle music that reminds you, the player, and the Slayer by extension, that you're a real threat to Davoth, the creator of all things. You finally met him in combat, and you're definitely gonna kick his ass. Here's a rare look at my songwriting process. It's notes. Like many of my original projects, I start with some ideas and I write them down, so these are my goals for this one. First, and probably most obvious, we're trying to get some groovy riffs in here, because this is the Slayer's perception of the fight. You know, like the entire DLC built up to this one battle with Davoth, so he's like, finally, I'm gonna kick his ass. Of course, the stakes are really high, so the second thing that we're gonna try to do is get a lot of dissonance and tension moments. It's the fate of the Earth, at the potential end of Hell's invasion. The third one on my list is more specific to the ancient gods. Thunderous chanting, booming, we want choir-like elements. You want to make it clear that Davoth is Hell and Urdak, he's the first being, he is an ancient god. This is the ancient gods, we want that aesthetic a little bit. Just for fun, I added metal samples and scrapes because, well, he is in a big metal suit. And last, I actually don't want to be overly electronic in this song. We're gonna wanna stay away from that filter synthy bass sound. Typically this is reserved for like a city or a facility level or some cybernetic boss. This battle is not that case, and the design aesthetic here doesn't really support that. Of course, with all these notes, I have to turn it into an actual arrangement, so I put Ableton and some gameplay footage right next to each other, and I played a bunch of guitar riffs until I came up with some cool stuff that I could stick together. Okay, I went really deep. It's been like 8 days and 70 kick drum adjustments later. This song's ready to go. Oh my god, I am tired. Originals are hard. Also, the project's too big for me to show you any demos because, well, let me show you what happens when I click play. But if I can't show you any demos, you know what that means. It's time for the final product. Please keep in mind that this is arranged like it will be part of a standard soundtrack, so not necessarily meant to line up with gameplay. But knowing that, please tell me in the comments if you think it fits alongside some of the other Doom Eternal hits. Without further ado, Fall of Davoth. So, would this song fit in the conclusion to the Doom Eternal story? Let me know in the comments. Fall of Davoth will be on every streaming platform either right now or very soon, and if you'd like to support my journey towards composing for AAA games, you can buy the song on Bandcamp for whatever price you think is best. That's including $0 if you're just interested in the high quality file. And Andrew Holschuld, if you see this video, I'd love to talk shop with you sometime. Alright, it's back to covers for the next video. Which one will it be? You'll find out soon. Until then, I've been Geoffrey Day. You've been nothing but a perfect audience, and I hope you come back for the next one. See ya!